I figured it's better start the video looking at something pretty as opposed to my ugly mug. So there's actually a couple topics that I want to discuss. One of which was issues that I had today with the VA, and I really want to take the opportunity and vent in a crazy way about how horrible the VA system is, whether it's disability claims or VA facilities, mostly in blue states. But I'll save that for another video. Today's video is going to be about a particular search engine. I won't say names so that hopefully it doesn't flag anything, but it's rhymes with Oogle. I've got a brother from another mother of mine, great guy, tracks all his spending, takes care of everybody else more than he takes care of himself. And he had some recent issues with that particular search engine and their virtual pay system. Now, unfortunately, this isn't the first time he's had an issue with them. Now, if you think about it, a conglomerate such as them kind of controls way more than they should be able to. I mean, anybody who knows anything already knows that they are tracking and monitoring whatever we're doing online. And, anytime you get a new phone, what do you have to set up? That account. If you decide you want to do anything virtually, typically you've got to go through them, unless it's through Apple. Suffice it to say, what happened was there was a malicious charge on his Oogle virtual account. So he reaches out to the bank. Bank realizes that this is not normal for his account. Checks the address, realizes that whatever was ordered was not even shipped to his address, shipped to a completely different address, and the bank rectifies the situation. Reaches out to that particular search engine. They claim they did the research to look into the issue and found no wrong. Claims that he was the one that placed the order and shipped whatever that item was. Now, the issue here is, first off, if they look at his charge history through that account, he's never spent that much using that account, ever. And if they look at the shipping, he's never shipped anywhere other than where he currently resides. I mean, those two facts alone, the fact that there's a charge on there that is quite out of the norm, going to a location that's not his, and no way to, of course, they didn't look into enough to verify any of this, and they're claiming that there's no wrongdoing. And of course, he sent out multiple emails, and that's where things stand. They're trying to say that it falls on him. Now, I understand shit happens, but this guy is like me. He's an Air Force veteran, and he crosses his T's and dots his I's with everything. So he knows what he's talking about. But the big problem with all this, besides the fact that he got screwed, and they're not doing shit about it because they don't care about little people like us, is like I said, they're a large conglomerate with way too much power. I mean, if you want to use any sort of search engine, theirs becomes like this set search option with very few, if any, option to change that. I mean, you're forced to use them. And their censorship. because they don't allow you to search certain things. I I mean, you're allowed to search, but you're not going to get the appropriate responses. I mean, even then, anybody that knows that search engine, you cannot tell me that you've put in even like a regular search, Chevy Silverado near my location, whatever. You put in the zip code, and it brings up the craziest of shit. I mean, seriously. And actually, it makes me think of that movie Ted. I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one. I think it was the first one, Ted 1. And he's talking about, every time he puts in anything into the search engine, it brings up black stuff. And that becomes like a running joke throughout the movie. And it kind of fits, because that's what happens when you use them. They kind of, you put in a specific search and they send you whatever the hell they want to send you. But like I was saying, it's big corporations like that have too much overreach. They're allowed to get away with whatever they want, and there's no control. There's no repercussions, and that's a problem. I mean, I know years ago there was an issue with companies like that, and the government trying to fight monopolies with certain organizations, and that being a problem. But then you turn around and look at things today, and I'm not going to get into government talk, because if you watch any of my other videos, you already know where I stand on our current administration, but I digress. There's way too many monopolies, and the monopolies that are going on are companies like this search engine, and the overreach is ridiculous, and there's no, when it comes down to you trying to get them to rectify a mistake, they've got the final decision on whether it's going to happen or not. I mean, who do you go to when you've got an issue like my buddy does? I mean, you're stuck. They basically make you, eat the situation. And you look at the way our the standing of the world right now. Everybody's struggling. I mean, everybody's struggling. Everything's gotten so expensive, and people are penny pinching just to survive, just to get by. So a situation like this becomes much more important to resolve. But so that's basically what this video was going to be about. There's got to be a fix. I mean, in a matter of speaking, they've got us by the balls. You can't go to a manager or go over their head to get the situation squared away, because they're a giant monopoly that does what they want. Besides the fact that, like I said earlier, we're forced to deal with them. I mean, even if you decide you want to try to use another search engine, everything starts with them as a default. Which, what happened to our freedoms? What happened to freedom of choice? That goes right out the damn window. But like I said earlier, I've got a couple other topics. One I wrote down, another one to vent about my direct issues with the VA, so be on the lookout for that. But if anybody knows any way to possibly rectify a certain charging issue like what my brother from another mother is dealing with, then feel free to leave in the comments, because he's upset, and rightfully so. But that's it. sea monsters or some shit jumping around in the lake. Take it one step at a time, one day at a time. Know that things are going to get better sooner than later. You can already feel the change. A lot of truth coming out. And know that you're loved. Love, peace, and chicken grease.